Hi, my name is Emily Neubauer, and I will be analyzing three different infographics on stress, with one of them being my own work. I chose this topic because as a college student, I've dealt with stress and I've watched many of my peers experience it as well. Stress is something that everyone deals with, whether it's consistent or occasional, we all get stressed out. Did you know that long term stress can heavily impact your physical health? According to the American Psychological Association, stress affects all systems in the human body, making people more susceptible to illness and diseases. Sadly, the side effects of stress are not talked about enough, and many people have no clue that stress can heavily damage your body. The first infographic that I found was on WebMD, which is a reliable source, and they also reference other reliable sources such as the National Institute of Mental Health. This infographic is about the physical effects of long-term stress. It shows a body model and shows all the different effects of stress and which part of the body is being negatively impacted. Overall, the infographic has a nice visual appearance, it's not too overwhelming with color, and it's easy to read. The blue and red colors nicely complement each other, and I'm very fond of the body model to effectively express to the audience how stress can affect the entire body. I also like that they draw lines to the different parts of the body to show where the issues occur. The structure of the information is laid out nicely, which makes it easy for the audience to see the meaning of the information right away. The layout of the page is very symmetrical, which is visually pleasing for the audience. The font and size of the information looks neat and is easy to read from far away. As we discussed in class, this infographic uses the Gestalt theory, where they make the body into the focus, although it's not the whole page. Due to the wording of the infographic, such as odds of diabetes rise and stroke risk may rise, the target audience of this infographic are adults looking to better their health or prevent health conditions. If I had to make any changes, I would change the background color from white to something else such as black to make the information pop, since the colors are limited. I would also add a little bit more information to the infographic, going into a little bit more depth about the different effects of stress, or even adding some statistics. The thinking process for this infographic is creative in my opinion, because the infographic leaves room for imagination by leaving space and not filling it with information. Additionally, they use visual cartoons and clip art to get their point across instead of just having information. The second infographic I chose is from Johns Hopkins Medicine, which is a trusted medical organization. This infographic is educational for those who do not know the basic statistics on stress. This infographic provides information on Americans dealing with stress, how to relieve stress, and the effects of stress. It reports that 75% of Americans have experienced at least one symptom of stress, and that parents have more stress than people without children. In this infographic, they use a lot of visuals over wordy information. Having less words on the page does make it a bit more visually appealing, and I think that having percentages and statistics helps the audience better understand the vast majority that also struggle with stress. The colors blue and red are used throughout the page and complement each other well. The infographic has a visually appealing structure due to the way they place the charts, maps, and other clip art. Although the information is broad, it goes over all the basics about stress, which makes it an effective educational tool. As discussed in class, the elements of hierarchy are shown in this infographic, as there is a lot of emphasis on the statistics compared to the effects of stress or management tactics. The intended audience is for anyone looking to learn more about stress in general. This is because it covers almost all areas of stress, including statistics on stress in the United States, effects of stress on the body, and stress management tactics. If I had to change anything, I would add more information because it's very broad. For example, I would add more information to the stress management tactics. I would also use a different layout for the data displayed In my opinion, the thinking process behind this infographic seems to be creative thinking because they're suggesting for the audience to solve their problems with the stress management tactics and the emphasis that was placed on the graphics. So, for my infographic, I decided to create an infographic about stress symptoms to help my intended audience and inform them on the dangers of stress. I decided to use all of my own information from different sources. However, I'm combining the structure tactics of the other infographics to create a unique structure that will effectively deliver my message to the audience. I used some clip art to help create a visually pleasing infographic, and I used yellow and pink or like a pinky red for a bright look to grab the audience attention. I used a more box-like structure for my infographic because I had a lot of information that I need to add instead of pictures. As discussed in class, I used the principle of symmetry to have an aesthetically pleasing structure which helps engage the audience while still having enough room for the information. The target audience for my infographic is adults who aren't aware that stress may be negatively affecting their bodies. This is due to the question at the top of the infographic, and as the intended audience reads the infographic, they can analyze if they themselves have unresolved stress. If I had to change anything, I would like to add a graph or maybe a chart for the statistics section to give it kind of an extra visual. I think I used critical thinking while making this infographic because I was not creating anything new or revolutionary. I was simply repeating existing facts and using them to inform others. Additionally, my heavy use of data and practical design structure also add to the fact that I'm a critical thinker. So each infographic has its own unique look and message for its intended audience. I think I made the right choice to combine structure ideas from both infographics when I created my own. Infographics are a really great way to quickly educate in a broad audience, and the structure and design of them can really greatly impact the message that is being received by the audience. I hope that you learned something new about the effects of stress on the body, and thank you so much.